Welcome back to Championship action after the international break. Here are my predictions for round 12. As ever, I'll attempt to predict the outcome of each of the 12 Championship games this weekend. Get your forecasts in via the comments. It's okay if you get some wrong. And on that note, we'll have a look back at how I did last time at the end of the video. Sheffield United versus Birmingham. The Blades are now showing up as the best team in the division in every which way. Top of the table, 9 undefeated, most consecutive wins. Top for goals and even tackles, for goodness sake. The good news for Blues is that they're top for clearances and their keeper Ruddy is in good form. But the Blades are also a red-hot home side. They can really lay a marker down now pre-World Cup. I'm with it. Home! Blackpool versus Norwich. Norwich don't have the spectacular stats that Sheffield United do yet, but they have such nous at this level and huge squad strength. The Canaries are 7 undefeated, and despite Sargent's lofty position in the goal-scoring charts, Pookie now seems to be pulling rank as the focal point up top. 1 win in 6 for Poole, and back-to-back defeats prior to the break. 2 home defeats already this season. Here comes another, I think. Away! Reading versus Huddersfield. New manager Claxon #1. We're going to need this a lot. Welcome Mark Fotheringham into a tricky job at Huddersfield. They are down in the bottom 3. I try not to get into mythical bounces too much, so let's focus on the fact he has Sorba Thomas creating plenty and a great full debut last time out from Etienne Kamara. Reading can be chaotic, but surely they're the stable favourites in this one, with Huddersfield having just made their change. Home! Cardiff versus Burnley. Here's another new manager, Claxon. Steve Morrison out of Cardiff right at the start of the international break. At time of recording, they seem to be going with Mark Hudson. Keep an eye on that one, though. With that being said, this feels a rough opponent to be facing. Burnley, top of the league for possession, 7 undefeated like Norwich. They've controlled possession and not won a few times this season, but I'm not seeing that being the case here. Away! Sunderland v Preston. This one feels like a 0-0 waiting to happen. Preston, fewest goals conceded plus most clean sheets. Sunderland, likely without first choice front 2, Ellis Sims and Ross Stewart. We don't want a 0-0 though, do we? Sunderland have been clinical in the past 2 games. Pritchard will still create and Mowbray will surely still play on the front foot. If it's not a shutout stalemate, I'm probably on the Black Cats. Home! Bristol City versus QPR. This should be a great advert for some of the Championship's hottest properties. QPR's double act of Willock and the league's top assist maker, Chair, against the young guns, Scott and Conway of Bristol City. Can they squeeze Semenyo into that 11 too? He's performing well off the bench. I'm still high on City despite back-to-back defeats in hard games at Norwich and Burnley. Should be a cracker, should be goals. Not sure about the defences, can't split it. Draw! Let's play some Championship fantasy football. Join me at BetMate in the Championship 3 p.m. pot for a chance to win a £100 first prize. How about that? It's weekly fantasy football, so just select your starting 7 plus 4 subs. No price limits, just 2 players per club max though. Here's my side. I'm all in on Ndiaye doing the business for the Blades. He's my captain. I might stick Willock in when I know what Reading's plan is with Lucas João. Can make subs up until 5-3. Stats are powered by Opta. And if you use the promo code BLOOM5 when you enter any pot, BetMate will give you a free £5 entry in another pot. BetMate are pro low stakes responsible game plan. This is a great way for you lot to use that massive useless Championship knowledge I know you've all got. Get on board by downloading the BetMate app. Use the link in the description, please. Don't go via the App Store. And then get your free £5 entry by using the code BLOOM5. Blackburn versus Millwall. Here's a quick leap that my Millwall subscribers probably won't like, but Blackburn never draw, Millwall never win away. That doesn't leave you much room for manoeuvre in your predictions, if that means anything to you. Rovers so spotty, but look like they're settling into a Thomason team. Millwall love a cross. They also love playing at home, and they're not. Perhaps the Lions can play on Blackburn's slightly inconsistent nature and get something. Let's predict the code is going to get broken. Draw Rotherham versus Wigan. My new manager klaxon is going to break from overuse. At time of recording, it looks like Mark Bonner to Rotherham from Cambridge is not happening. Things can obviously change between now and the weekend, but whatever happens, we'll be feeling a Paul Warne-shaped void at the New York. Wigan never know when they're beaten, and points per game-wise are the best away team in the league. I'm going to gamble a little bit here. If Shakespeare wrote this, Wigan would twist the knife. Away! Stoke versus Watford. I promise I'm not trying to repeat myself, but should we press the new manager button instead of the new manager klaxon? Welcome back, Slaven Bilic. If we're able to set aside Rob Edwards not being treated very well by Watford, we know Bilic is a big reputation manager who will likely get Watford moving. The Hornets have not been great away from home, and Stoke are starting to get up to Alex Neil levels of intensity. I think I'm down the middle again. Draw! Hull versus Luton. Crikey, Hull really need a trend upwards towards the World Cup, or this is not going to end well for Shota Arveladze. 4 straight defeats for the Tigers. Failed to score in the last 3. Worst XG against in the league. Luton are moving in the right direction. Morris banging the goals in. Bree very productive down the right. With the obvious caveat the Championship is ridiculous and Hull's players are probably better than this. I've got to go away! West Brom versus Swansea. Here continueth the story of West Brom making loads of chances and not having 1 in 6 in all competitions. The Baggies have the 3rd highest team XG in the league, although Swansea's Joel Perreault has the highest as a player, but he's actually converted with 4 goals in his last 5. I'm going to do it again because this is a hill I'm prepared to die on. I'm going to forecast the West Brom rise up the table and probably be completely wrong again, but home! Coventry versus Middlesbrough. When do we start to properly worry about these two? Everyone seems to think that they'll both eventually just shift up the table, but right now, they're not budging. Coventry, no wins in 7. Pitch caveats acknowledged. That's still pretty bad going. Borough in the bottom 3 with them. Lots of Wilder to Bournemouth links as well this international break. Gus Hamer has already managed to get himself 2 red cards. He'll be suspended for Cov. O'Hare still not around. So Coventry fans, sorry, I'm going to go Borough. Away! That's my full house of 12 predictions. Last time, 5 out of 12. I prefer to be hitting that 50%, but we've had worse this season, believe you me. 2 teams earned themselves a big shout out last time for winning when I thought they'd lose, so the 180 wrong awards went to Reading and Huddersfield. So big up those 2. Get your picks in via the comments, and good news everybody, we've set up a special helpline for those people struggling to cope with me daring to predict that their team may not win a football match this weekend. So, instead of crying about that in the comments, just dial the number and the operator will be there on the other end of the phone. For all your emotional needs, I must warn you, waiting times are between 1 and 17 hours. You can catch up with all of these predictions in short form over on TikTok, Insta and Facebook if I'm waffling a bit too much. You can also join up on Patreon or stay right here and see if you can get your head around this mad week or so of managerial manoeuvring. To my right, you can hear about Mark Fotheringham and Slaven Bilic. And to my left, you can hear all about Steve Morrison and Paul Warne. Pick your poison.